Okay, I stripped the paint off of this thing. It was all flaking off anyway, but I did not realize until I had started stripping it that it's got some filler in it. And it didn't fit very well here, and I had repaired this, in that I thought maybe that was partly my repair job that maybe caused the problem. It doesn't sit flush there, and I do think maybe I might have messed that up. I don't know, but anyway, this was also broken where I couldn't put a screw in right there. I mean, I could put a screw in, but it didn't hold because the hole was busted out. So I JB welded a washer in there, and I'm going to do a little body work on it. It had been ground on, and it's got some low spots where I was sanding, and of course the filler. So I'm going to do some body work, see if I can't make it fit better. It's not a super high priority, but I'm going to do that. This one fits really good. Of course, I gotta weld up that spot on the fender, but this one fits really good. This is the one I did not have to repair, and it fits really nice. So I probably didn't do a great job repairing that. I don't know if this one has filler in it. I didn't know this one did either, but it's obviously it was bent or broken or whatever, so I don't feel bad having to work on it, and I'll try to make that gap better. So, and then we can mount it solidly. Hopefully that JB weld will hold. The rest of them were okay, but that one had been, looks like they tightened the screw and busted the part out. So like I said, I JB welded a washer in there. So, okay, that's the latest. All right, I put a little JB weld on there for strength, and then I'll reinforce it with some fiberglass filler. I need to go pick some of that up, and then we'll smooth it all out with the plastic filler. But I just wanted to build that edge up a little bit to fill the gap, and then I'm going to smooth all this stuff out. But it'll work or it won't. If it don't, I'll be on the lookout for another one. These things are easy to come by. After I get I'm going to pull all the fenders and stuff off so I can weld these aprons and this radiator core support. I'm going to drill a few self-tappers in to hold everything, because I've got it aligned pretty good, and then I can clean up areas where I'm going to weld. But I also have this oil pressure gauge. I'm going to hook that up when I run it again, make sure we have good oil pressure. I mean, it ran pretty good, but the factory gauges are just a high-low needle, so I don't know what value it's giving me. In fact, I didn't even look, to be honest. So we'll put this on, see what kind of oil pressure we've got. Don't want to hurt the motor. If I've got to rebuild it, I'll rebuild it. But if I don't, if it's got good oil pressure, we won't tear it down. It was supposedly rebuilt right before Jason bought it, and I don't know how many miles he put on it. But the valve covers, when I popped them off to get it started, I had a couple stuck valves. It was very clean in there, so I'm going to guess it's been well taken care of. I should have pressure washed it when I did the car, but I will get around to doing that. Maybe after I get everything welded, I'll put the radiator in, let it run for a while, and then get it good and hot, and then we'll pressure wash all the crud off of it. One of them rainy days. Good day to work in the garage. Glad I got this 66 inside so I can work on it out of the rain for a little bit. We'll take a look at some of my debauchery here. This was my billy rigged attempt to get some JB weld in here. I'm gonna take all my stuff off of here and start cutting it to fit the gap, and then we'll body work it. All right, I'm still gonna have to build up a little bit right in there, but that part fits pretty flush, and that part is gonna work. So a little build up in there, and yeah, it should start to look pretty good. All right, we put a little fiberglass filler just to kind of build up that gap. Then I'll sand that and do some plastic filler. It's, I don't know, it'll do. Now these fenders have a lot of waves in them. I have stripped this fender pretty much to bare metal, and of course everywhere where I still see paint, that was a low spot. I'm filling that one in, but these fenders are going to be wavy, and it's going to take a lot of sanding and filling and sanding and filling. You can see multiple layers here. I don't really know why I'm bothering with these fenders. I really should find some better ones, but these are what I got, and so I'm just in between things. I'm trying to build them up. This one is really bad. Doesn't look too bad in the primer. This is really wavy here. This is going to take a lot of work in this area. The rest of the fender is not too bad, but yeah. Anyway, that's where I'm at right now. We had an interesting development here. A squirrel came down the chimney. We had the damper open because we use it, and it fell down, I guess, into the fireplace area. Couldn't get itself out. The cat here, you can see, has noticed it, which got my attention. We were able to grab it with some welding gloves and get it out, but yeah, that was interesting. Little distraction.
So what are you working on now?
So, come over here and you can kind of see this headlight bucket. I bought, remember when I drove up kind of almost to Ohio, I bought all of this front end stuff. This one was broken, and I bought a repair kit and repaired it, but it still didn't fit really well.
It's doing body work.
So yeah, I've been working on getting this to fit the fender, and then the fender itself was pretty wavy. So as you can see, I've been doing a lot of body work trying to get it straight. It had a lot of dents and dings all over it.
That's what you were stinking the house up with the other day.
Yeah, it's the filler. I got fiberglass filler over there. I've got like a plastic filler, and I got glazing putty filler. So all of that to try and get these fenders halfway decent looking.
Okay.
So, but probably the next step, I need to quit messing around with all the body work. Take all this stuff back off and weld this panel, and that panel.
Are you going to have to take out the engine for that?
No, I just got to weld, spot welds this panel to the shock tower and the frame rails.
Okay.
Both sides, and then weld this panel to these two panels.
Okay.
And then that front cross member. And then that'll all be welded. I'll probably paint the engine compartment if we get warm enough weather.
Black.
And then I can put the radiator in, change the oil, and run it with the new gas tank and coolant and all that stuff, and see if the transmission works. And then I got to work on the brakes because they don't work.
Yeah, we've seen that. All right, so you got a lot of cool stuff coming up.
Yeah, and then I got to put in new muffler bearings
Okay.
because the mufflers are kind of loud. So
Okay.
it needs new muffler
Yeah,
bearings.
definitely. Muffler bearings. I like that idea.
I'm just teasing you. There's no such thing as muffler bearings. This is my setup bearing for the differential. Okay, so.
All right, we'll see you later.
All right, thank you. All right, time to quit procrastinating. Take all this stuff back off and start welding. All right, let's see. Getting this here bracket on. I hope we don't twist off any bolts. That's surprisingly coming loose. Why is that coming loose? Yeah. I'm gonna clean it up anyway. This one probably will twist off. It's gonna suck if it does. I don't know. You have to turn it. I can't believe it. I'm going to guess the water pump turns free. It's not loose. I'm going to guess it's going to work for a little bit, but probably will fail sometime when it's inconvenient because it's been sitting a long time with no antifreeze in it. It's not locked up and it's not, the bearing's not worn out, that I can tell anyway. So I can't believe this bolt's coming out. This really surprises me. Because this one, I think, is going through where it would get water on it. Yeah, I think so. We're going to clean it up now. We'll definitely get the threads coated with some Never Seas. And then I'm just going to smear some on the bolt itself. It's flipping cold in here. All right, we need a cheater pipe. So the ones I thought would be a problem weren't, and one that I didn't think would be a problem is. Probably going to have a leaky valve cover gasket there now because Edge and I just burnt it to a crisp. Well, it's turning, I think, but I don't know. thinking maybe that could be putting a bind on it if it was tight against that bracket, but oops. One second. That does not seem to be the case. In there. This punch. Wow, that was fun. Oh! Slides in and out smoothly now. This wire is broken, so it's a good thing we took this off so we can see the damage. Let's see, these threads seem to be all right. While this bracket is off, I'm going to take this heater hose off, I hope, because that's also an inconvenient later. This stupid light don't work anymore. This is the second one I bought in their junk. I didn't buy the other one, I had it replaced. But this one also now junk. Garbage. Japanese, Chinese, whatever. It's crap. All right, we got the starter solenoid bolted down, starter cable, that's a new one hooked up, new battery cable, new ground cable, fix the wires on the back of the alternator. I just gotta find homes for all this stuff. I'm gonna put a lower radiator hose on the water pump pulley and crank pulley, and then we put the radiator in. It's pretty cold outside, which means it's pretty cold in the garage as well. Thermometer on the wall says it's 40 degrees. It's like 20 outside. But anyway, I got to looking at this alternator wiring mess. I untaped it. There was supposed to be a connector, a factory connector, so that I could run this wire harness back through the lower core support in and out through these holes, but it had all been taped up, so I thought, well, maybe they just taped the connector, but nope, it's been, I don't know, hacked together, we'll say. This ground wire is brown and then goes to yellow, so I'm gonna make a new one that's black, and it's supposed to go over to the voltage regulator and ground on that. The power wire, which is yellow up to a point, is supposed to be, I think, black with a green tracer, or maybe black with a yellow tracer. That's been cut and spliced. I'll test that and see if it's a good connection. It might be okay. The field wire is black and it's supposed to be white, and it goes to a point, and then it looks poorly connected to a white wire, which is then frayed in a bunch of places. So I've got some new wire. I'm going to rewire the white field wire and the black ground wire, and before I hook them back up to the alternator, I'll run them through the radiator core support. I may also, like I said, make a new connector here. I don't know, on the main one. Probably should go ahead just so I can get them all run through the radiator core support. But that's what I'm working on right now. Clean up some of this wiring, and then we can put the radiator. And I wanted to get all that done before the radiator was in the way. So all right, my white field wire, which had been spliced here with, I think that's black. Anyway, following it into the harness, if you can see that, but all the insulation is gone and it's corroded. So I'm going to just finish peeling it out of this harness, and we'll cut it right at the plug, or maybe I can get that plug out of there. I don't know, but we'll try to replace that whole field wire. Alright, I got everything hooked up to this yellow wire. It's got a broken place there, and somewhere else I saw it was frayed, or yeah, right there. So I'm going to go buy some, I think, 14 gauge yellow wire. Replace this one, because this is power from the battery, and we don't want it touching anything when it runs through the radiator core support. And then we got to plug it, or it is plugged into the voltage regulator, but we don't want any problems there. So let me go get some of that, and then I'll fix that wire, and then the wiring should be done, and I can put the radiator in. Alright, I got the yellow wire replaced. It splices in to this harness and goes up to the solenoid. And then this main wire here is a factory joint in it that goes two different directions. One is to the alternator, one up to the solenoid. The field wire is its own, and then this ground wire. So those are running through the radiator core support here, like factory, and into the voltage regulator. The ground is grounded to the voltage regulator right there. I gotta get the capacitor that plugs into there, which I might have to replace. That looks like it's broken off side there. But anyway, that's all hooked up. I'll wrap it in tape and make it look kind of factory. There should have been a factory harness plug here somewhere, I think. But anyway, wiring should be good to go. I'm going to go ahead, like I said, and tape it up and then call it done.
Well, babe, so you got that all buttoned up?
Well, mostly. I had to rewire the alternator wiring. This was all messed up, so I rewired that. That runs through the core support over to the voltage regulator. So that's all done. New ground. Battery cables are in. One thing you can check, or I want you to check while you're standing here, is I am going to disconnect that so it won't start, but I would like you to tell me if I put this into the key in start mode, if I get any voltage.
It'll say on there.
Yeah.
Okay. Do I need to hold something?
Probably have to hold. Just kind of hold it like that.
It's not going to shock me, is it?
No.
Okay.
So,
Up.
Can you see that? So it says 0.4 or something like that.
I don't have a picture on here.
It's just the monitor.
Oh, okay. What am I looking for?
It should go to like 11 volts or 12 volts.
It's at 0.405.
Did it move?
Nope.
All right, let's check the other way.
Okay.
And I just unplugged. You might have to, I don't know if you can do that with one hand or not.
Okay. It's at 3.9.
Okay.
11.17. 11.16.
Okay, good. So that means.
And it went back down.
All right, the net. I'm going to plug it in,
Okay.
and then I want you to do the same thing at the coil. Just touch that gold washer.
Okay.
And
Hold on. Touching the gold washer. It's at 002.
what's it now?
8.59.
Okay, I'm going to crank it over. Tell me when it jumps to, if it moves.
10.66.
Okay. Everything's working like it's supposed to.
Awesome.
So the coil has a resistor wire for normal running. For cranking, it bypasses the resistor. So that's all working. And of course the starter relay worked because the starter worked. So all the wiring I think is good. I don't know if the alternator is going to work.
Okay.
And I honestly don't know what this wire is for. It's
If anybody knows,
It doesn't-
bleep bloop it down.
yeah, bleep,
As Derek would say.
bleep bloop it. It was just hanging here. I don't know where it goes. I've got to make some mounts for the shroud. I just got it zip tied on right now. But got the radiator in. I'm gonna have to. I tried fitting these hoses. These are new.
Gonna have to cut them down.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to trim on them. They're too long.
Okay.
That's the lower one. This is the upper one. I think this one might fit without any.
Just a little persuasion. That's all it needs.
without any
There you
trimming.
go.
Yeah. I gotta get some clamps.
Yep.
If that one's gonna work just fine. Might trim it a little so it don't kink right
Yeah.
there. But then we can put coolant in it, fire it up, let it run a while, and then see if the transmission works. So, yeah, other than my shroud mounting, trimming up these hoses, and getting some hose clamps, we'll put some coolant in it. All of this is welded, as you can see, and painted.
Looks like a car.
Battery tray is mounted firmly. The battery's in it with the hold down. So then I can bolt all the fenders and stuff back on, and it'll be, we can take it for a drive. Well, it don't have any brakes, but
That's important.
yeah, we'll
As you could tell when you pulled it into the garage.
yes, we'll fix the brakes before we drive it.
Okay.
But yeah, next steps should be just letting her run a while, get some heat in it, do a couple cycles. We'll see if the water pump holds up. I don't know if this fuel pump or alternator is going to work. But the gas tank's in, fuel lines are all hooked up. I'm going to leave this open. We'll put some gas in the tank and we'll see if the pump will pump. If it won't, I have to replace that. The water pump's pretty solid, so I think it's going to be okay, at least for now. Alternator, I have no clue. We won't know until it's running. We'll check it and see if it charges, but yeah.
Looks like you got a plan, Stan.
Yeah. So stay tuned.
All right, see ya.
Alright, she's got oil pressure. Check the timing. Alright, we had 40 psi oil pressure at idle. Timing is right at top dead center, so it needs to be advanced. Distributor is stuck. Gonna soak it and see if we can't get her to break loose. That could turn into a whole fiasco. Coolant system seems to be working. I ran it long enough, I think, to get some heat in it and open the thermostat. And no leaks. So, oh, and the transmission went into gear, so that's positive. So that'll probably do it for this video. Still a lot of work to do, but it's more and more a car. Thanks for watching.